Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, March 20th, 2025. I am Joan McDonald, the Chair of the New York State Bridge Authority. This is our monthly meeting. I will call the roll to ensure we have a quorum. The meeting has been publicly noticed per New York State requirements. Maria Bruni.
Present.
Alex Berardi.
Present.
Lanny Gilbert.
Present.
Michael O'Brien.
Present.
And I am present. We have a quorum. Can I have a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Michael. All in favor, signify by aye. We do have a committee of the whole meeting, but before we do the committee of the whole, we have some employee recognitions that we would like to give to our staff who are here, who are all here, and then we can recognize them and then get back to their work. So I'm going to read one of them. This is for all of them, okay? And we're going to start right at the beginning with Sheena Fitzpatrick. Come on up. This prestigious recognition is a testament to Sheena's exceptional hard work, innovation, and impact within our organization and industry. Sheena's ability to implement innovative security protocols, streamline communication across departments, and effectively manage critical situations has significantly improved NYSBA's safety and preparedness. Sheena's leadership has been instrumental in developing proactive strategies to mitigate risks, ensuring the well-being of both employees and the public. From Danielle Moss. Thank you, Danielle, for recognizing your employees. Sheena, congratulations. Next up, we have Jonathan Joya. Jonathan, come on up. Come on down. Jonathan's passion for technology and commitment to operational efficiency have greatly enhanced security and response capabilities. Jonathan actively collaborates with IT and vendors to optimize system functions, improve alarm accuracy, and strengthen early incident detection. As Command Center Tech Committee Chair, congratulations. He leads system improvements that enhance security protocols and streamline workflows. Jonathan's proactive approach, passionate leadership, and commitment to innovation have had a lasting impact on safety and operations, making him highly deserving of this recognition. Danielle Moss. Congratulations. Next up, we have James Cotter. Okay. James's expertise in data analysis has greatly improved public safety by enhancing incident tracking, refining data accuracy, and supporting informed decision-making. James has introduced advanced data visualization methods, streamlined data integration, and provided key insights into incident trends, response times, and first detection sources. His efforts have empowered leadership to make proactive, data-driven decisions that optimize operations and emergency response strategies. James's dedication, innovation, and impact on public safety make him highly deserving of this recognition. Danielle Moss. And now we will have Kai Louie come up. Hello, Kai. How are you this morning? Kai's heroic efforts during a high-stress incident involving an emotionally disturbed person at the Newburgh Beacon Bridge is commendable. Upon being notified by the command center of a pedestrian who climbed from the breakdown lane over the barrier, STB Kai immediately responded. Despite the intensity of the situation, Kai was able to engage the person in distress, remaining calm and passionate, and ultimately persuade them to step back over the barrier. His quick thinking and dedication ensured the individual's safety, allowing him to escort them off the bridge without harm. Kai's actions exemplify the highest standards of professionalism, empathy, and commitment to public safety. His ability to de-escalate the situation and prevent a tragedy is a testament to his outstanding service and dedication. Danielle Haas. Thank you. Be good if the whole group could come up, and Danielle, because they're your team, so that we can get a photo of all of you. And you know, I think that it is great when members of the public recognize our NYSBA staff, but it's also great when other members of NYSBA staff recognize their team, because it's really important to all of the work that you do. So congratulations, everybody. Demo as a board. All right. And now for yeah, there we go.
In my youth.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, everybody.
Madam Chair, I'm Maria. Can you stay here for a few seconds?
Sure.
Okay, so as you know, this is Women's History Month, and we have two trailblazers and absolute, women that exemplify excellence, and we wanted to recognize them for the work they do for us
Thank you.
and for the contributions that you have been receiving from your community.
So we're instituting our first commissioner recognition award. If you don't know, in 2023, Joan was honored from the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce for Women's History Month. And this month, Maria was honored by Orange County for the Women's Recognition Night. So for that, we wanted to congratulate you both on being honored as Women's History Month Award recipients, and express our deepest appreciation for your hard work and dedication to NYSBA and the communities that you serve. We thank you for being an extraordinary role model to all of us at the authority and a champion for women in public service.
Thank you.
We get on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Commissioners and directors,
We gotta get that.
let's get on the picture.
Let's bring the back. You need to get it. Perfect, guys. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Stay right
Thank you.
there. Let's all get in the picture. So we can- Yeah, all men in the back.
All right.
Colin and Francine.
Yeah. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No, that's not mine. Sorry.
No, you give it away.
Someone. I'm loving it. This generation would take that. Great growth.
All right.
I'm saying that's what my dad would have said.
Okay, we will now pause the Bridge Authority meeting and go into the Committee of the Whole, acting on behalf of the Audit Committee and Finance. Audit Committee members, Alex?
Thanks, Joan. No roll required. We're all here. So we'll start with the audit committee item
adopting the minutes of the December 19th, 2024 audit committee meeting. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Maria. Second. We'll do the roll. Maria Bernie,
Aye.
Lonnie
Aye.
Gilbert, and Alex Ferrari. I'm also an aye, so the meeting minutes have been adopted. Next up, we'll move to the finance committee. We're looking to adopt the minutes of the December 19th, 2024 finance committee meeting. This is for Michael, Joan, and Maria. Motion?
Do I have a motion?
I'll
Second.
move it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up is a review of the EFPR Group 2024 annual report, and Brian.
Good morning, thank you. Today we have both Dave Cabell and David Breck from EFPR Group who will go through the annual report that was presented in the committees as draft form, so they'll touch upon that. Good morning, Dave and Dave, if you would.
Good morning. I'm going to share my screen as I usually do if I can, if sharing can be turned on.
You're good.
Okay. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see that.
We can.
Perfect.
Dave, I did pass out a copy
We
of
also have hard copy if we
to
can't see it.
each of the
You got a hard
committees.
copy? Okay. So, like Brian mentioned, we're going to go over the 2024 audit. Just some general information. Everybody's seen this before. I think a lot of you have anyways, but we planned and conducted our audit in February. We're out at the authorities' offices on the week of February 17th. We plan, it says it's highlighted here, we plan on issuing unmodified opinion on the financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024. That's a clean audit opinion. That's what you want to have. But we're waiting on that SOC 1 from T-Tech. If we received it, if we get it and it's clean and everything, we'll issue an unmodified opinion. If we don't receive it, or if there's issues with it, we may have to qualify the opinion. Unfortunately, we've had some experience with public authorities qualifying opinions, and New York State really doesn't like that when they get a qualified opinion. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But we've been told in the past that, well, go do the work to get it so that it's not qualified. We'll see what happens. We're waiting on New York State Thruway Authority and the SOC 1 for that. That's the big issue with the financial statements. Otherwise, everything looks great. We didn't identify any material weaknesses in internal control. Under government auditing standards, we've got an examination report for the authority's compliance with the section 201.3, title 2 of the official code, rules and regulations of the New York State. Basically, you in compliance with the investment guidelines under that code. They just limit what you can invest your money in, and you've got a clean opinion on that. Now I'll go on to some financial information and results of operations. This year, your cash increased by about $4.97 million to about $8.87 million at the end of the year. Significant sources and uses of cash. Cash of $24,960,000 was provided by operating activities. That's running the business of the Bridge Authority. It's a decrease from last year of about $1.5 million compared to 2023. Basically, it's due to increases in payments and contractors and payments for wages and benefits, and that outweighed the increase in your toll revenue that you had this year. Yet another $7,850,000 cash provided by or used by capital financing activities. That's the purchase of capital assets. It was about $750,000 in payments of principal and interest on your bonds of about $7,100,000. You used another $12,140,000 in investing activities. $18.5 million was used to purchase investments, and then that was offset by earnings of about $6,390,000 in investment earnings. Overall, your investments increased by about $18,850,000. We have details of the investments on footnote 4. I always encourage you to read the footnotes. It provides some detail of the numbers in the financial statements, and investments are explained in footnote 4. This year you had the lease asset and related to deferred inflows of about $2.6 million. It's related to the leasing of the dark fiber strands over the bridges. We recognize those leases in accordance with GASB 87, which was adopted in the prior years. Footnote 6 includes details on that. Capital assets, net of accumulated depreciation, those decreased by about $2,410,000. There was $13,230,000 of depreciation expense taken, and that was, depreciation expense was $3,160,000. It's offset by about $750,000 of asset purchases. Your overall capital assets was $13,230,000 at the end of the year. Footnote 7 has details of those capital expenses. Your bridge system assets remain the same at about $84,360,000. Your bridge conditions were all rated at 5 condition or better, and therefore they're exempt from depreciation. There was a little blip during the year that one of those bridges did fall below, but that was able to be rectified in time for the financial statements. Obviously, failure to maintain at least a rating of 5 or better will cause depreciation to be recognized and bond funding issues. Again, footnote 8 has details of the bridge system. Deferred outflows of resources related to pensions, that decreased by almost $1 million, $940,000 to about $4.5 million. This amount is provided by actuarial evaluation reports for the New York State Employees Retirement System annually. Details of the pension plan are included in footnote 10. You had a related liability of about $4,800,000 last year. Now I don't think there was an asset last year, was there, Dave? I think it was a liability of $7.5 million, not an asset.
Just going through.
This quick, I'm pretty sure that's just a typo in there. Yeah.
Okay.
It was $7.5 million liability last year.
Yeah, it was liability.
Yeah. So it decreased, the liability decreased from $7.5 million last year to about $4.8 million this year. They also have related deferred inflows of about $3 million. Changes in interest rates, the discount rates, and overall investment returns on the assets that are invested in the New York State retirement system drive those actuarial valuations. We don't really have any input into the value of that. It's all done by the actuaries that New York State hires. Deferred outflows of resources related to the other post-employment benefits, as coverage for health insurance and benefits for employees when they retire. That amounted to about $3,370,000. Below, we just talk about the OPEB liabilities. There was a $74 million in liabilities related to those future benefits that are going to be paid to those employees, and you had related deferred inflows of resources of about $22.5 million. Again, these amounts are provided by independent actuaries, and they're greatly impacted by changes in interest rates and discount rates, and of course, the healthcare cost trend rates used in these calculations. As everyone is aware, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, so these values are impacted greatly by those increases in healthcare costs. This year, your accounts payable increased about $7,310,000, or to $7,310,000. It was about $6,470,000 last year. In contracts and payable also increased about to $1,093,930,000 from about $260,000, and that was due to timings of payments and on the contract status at year end. As I mentioned before, your OPEB liability had decreased to about $74 million from about $81 million. Again, changes in the discount rates used in that calculation under GASB 75 resulted in that change. Deferred inflows related to the OPEB also decreased to about $22.5 million. It was about $26.8 million last year. Footnote 11 explains those details of the post-employment benefits that you have for your employees. Your bond debt, it decreased to about $134,650,000. It was about $138,890,000. That's just due to the scheduled payments that you made during the year. Footnote 9 has details about your bond debt. Again, your net pension liability decreased to $4.8 million from the $7.5 million. And you had deferred inflows related to the pension that increased to about $3 million. It was about $780,000 last year. Again, changes in the market value of those investments. This year, the New York State Employees Retirement System was estimated to be funded at 93.88%. Last year, it was only funded at 90.78%. Again, these numbers are all provided by New York State. And just so you know, New York State is one of the best funded retirement systems in the nation. Some of the other pension funds are grossly underfunded. Being at 93, almost 94% funded is a good thing for the state and for the employees that are in that system. This year, your net position was about $15,470,000. It was about $270,000 last year. The increase is due to the bottom line income this year. You had about $28,740,000 of bottom line income. A significant portion of that is related to the toll revenue increases this year, and also decreases in the employee benefits related to the actuarial valuations under GASB 75. And then with that, I'm going to let the other David take over at lucky number 13.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Moving on to the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. Toll revenue amounted to $82.5 million this year compared to a little over $76 million in the prior year. Traffic increases accounted for the majority of the revenue increase, and toll revenue accounted for right around 99% of all revenue for the Bridge Authority. The overall operating expenses decreased to $58.7 million this year from $59.9 million in the prior year. That was due mostly to the decrease in employee benefit costs associated with the pension and OPEB, as Dave disclosed above, offset by increases in the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and bridge repairs. These rehabilitation and repair costs increased to almost $27 million this year from $16 million in the prior year due to paint projects for the bridges, bridge steel work, and an increase in design work. And so overall, the net increase in net position this year was about $28.7 million compared to $19.7 million last year. And then in terms of the required communications that we are required by professional standards to make to those who are charged with the governance of the Bridge Authority, the major accounting policies are described in Note 2 to the financial statements. We noted no unusual policies or policies where there's a lack of guidance. All significant estimates were evaluated and considered appropriate, with the most sensitive estimates being the collectability of accounts receivable, the pension and OPEB benefits, and the bridge system condition assessments. We're happy to report that there were no material uncorrected misstatements detected by our audit procedures, and we are also happy to report that there were no difficulties in performing the audit.
With that, that's what we have for you today. Does anybody have any questions or discussions that they'd like us to go over?
Maybe I'm having a senior moment, but when was one of the bridges not level 5?
We had a correction, some work that we did quickly in 2024 that started, and we finished it in 25. It was on the borderline, and we brought it back up quickly. So there was a delay in providing the auditor the report, but that report was finalized and we maintained the 5.
Well, which bridge was it? What was the issue?
There was a bearing that was bad.
Okay, thank you.
And that was resolved. So thank you, Dave and Dave. Dave Gabel okay? Who
Yes.
was our auditing partner for the last 5 years, normally would rotate off, but this year he's rotating off and he's retiring in the fall. So-
Thank you. Yeah, so we kept the first names the same and the last initial the same. We're just gonna rotate it over to David Greck.
Okay,
It's the
thank you
same.
very much, and we'll
Thank
be
you.
in touch. Hopefully we'll have that SOC one
Yeah.
in short order and we'll turn
Yeah.
out around, okay?
Yep.
We'll be
All
in
right.
touch.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So no action by the committee? I don't see a resolution.
So the committee just accepts the report because the report is the auditors, okay? Because we can't really modify it,
Right.
except the report.
So
That's all we
I guess we have a motion to accept it as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So then on to the annual report.
So under section 2800, okay, a number of reports are provided to this whole public authorities reporting information system. We send certain documents to the head of Assembly Ways and Means, state comptroller, ranking minority member, Assembly Ways and Means, as well as the same group for Senate Finance and Assembly Ways and Means, sorry. Okay, so what we do in this particular document is we go and we try to throw in the laundry list of everything that we turn around and report to the various parties, so we don't have a whole bunch of board items that I bring to you. You know, obviously the holdup for this will be the requirement of audited financial statements. I don't have the audit yet, so there is a delay on that, but I did provide, you know, the documents from the audit report, statements for revenue expenses, statements of net position and statements of cash flow. You know, the standard schedule of debt issuance, there's a compensation schedule for all employees who are compensated with a base rate of pay above $100,000. For the year, in terms of real property, we did not sell or buy any real property. And we have appraisals of the bridges noted in the document. Some other items just to note, the internal control statement where we go and represent that we've met all of the requirements under the Internal Control Act. There's a certification that will be signed by the executive director and myself. There's also, you know, the authority's budget office, authority mission statement performance measures, as well as the measurement report indicating how the authority fared against those measurements for the year. The annual report of the code of ethics, which is required, and just notation of the project Sunlight and the lobbying contact policy. Okay, this item will also be brought to the board for approval. Okay, because this is an authority report, whereas the other report was from the others.
And back to the auditor's report for a moment. Have either you or the auditors given the authority budget office a heads up on the T-Tech issue, or does that wait until we actually deliver the audit?
Okay, we were in contact with Thruway, who we were told was trying to go and receive an exemption.
Got it,
Last
it.
last discussion I had was they're just gonna file late. Okay, we
Okay.
can go if it's missed. We can go and give them a heads up, but at this point, we were told yesterday that that's the current plan.
Got it. And we're working with the Thruway Authority on whatever action
Yeah.
will be in step.
So T-Tech being the vendor is technically not our vendor.
Right.
We don't have a contract with them. We have an MOU with.
With the Thruway, right?
Right,
Yeah,
so really, the direct discussion is with Thruway.
got it. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So the resolution is for the full board.
Yes, it
That's
is.
on this.
Yes, so the resolution, normally in the committees, we just ask the committee to accept, we note it in the minutes for the committee. But if it goes to the full board, we would include a resolution.
Kevin, do you prefer we vote on that, even though we're just passing this along, the resolution?
Wait till we come out of committee.
No, I prefer that they go and accept it.
As a committee.
Vote as the committee, and then it's in addition to that.
Okay.
Because remember, the charter for the audit and finance committees is
Does
to
require
go
that
and
they approve it,
review
right.
these reports and acknowledge and accept them.
So I'm looking for a motion to adopt and move to the board for both the annual report required by section 2800 of the Public Authorities Law.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, the individual committees, both of them have the same requirements.
Okay. Okay.
And same for annual investment and auditors,
Yeah.
right? We can accept them all together.
If you would like to do that, absolutely.
So next up is the annual investment report. Brian? Brian, you are busy man this time of year.
I just kill a lot of trees. Wait, so the next up is the annual investment report. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. It's just an acceptance of the continuation of the investment guidelines. The independent accountants report, if we do not receive the SOT 1, I will try to separate this from the rest of the report so I can file this on time. And an investment income record. We did have a really good year as far as investments. We came up with 6.4 million from the roughly 4.7.
More than you paid on the bond.
Which is why I'm hearing rebate in my future. In any case, but that's fine. But yes, overall, it was a good year. So with that said, if the committee will please accept it, and we'll just bring it up again.
Sure, do we have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
So Brian, your last item there.
So the internal control systems auditors report. So as part of the Internal Control Act, we're required to maintain and have in place a program of internal control review. The authority complies with this by contracting an outside audit firm to perform that review each year. For this year, 2024, there were 3 areas under review: accounts payable, procurement, and employee travel, as well as IT administration. And lastly, what we do every year, which is toll collection revenue, because that has the greatest impact on the financials. All 3 areas came up clean again. The authority staff was very diligent in making sure that we continue to adhere to our policies. There were no findings. This is another report that goes out on the board or on the website. It's filed with Albany, and I just asked that the committee go and accept the report.
Do we want to thank him now, or do you want to wait till the?
Thank him now. Yeah.
Brian, what-
Yeah, thank you.
I mean,
Thank you. Yep, you can do it again.
I think we should. I mean, I see that thumb Band-Aid over there. I mean, you guys.
It's just my wife's car had a bad battery. I learned I can't work on it.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to accept the internal control systems auditors report.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Is there any other business for the committee of the whole? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second?
we have the finance committee, I said we put our next guy on.
Thank you. We need to stay all there and.
Aye.
Aye.
Second, I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
I thought you moved it, Joan.
Maria.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
All right, Maria and Joan, got it.
Okay. Okay, coming out of the committee of the whole, we will now go back to the regularly scheduled board meeting. Chris, do we have any public comments?
Not today.
Registered? Okay, we give the Community Appreciation Award. The regular meeting minutes of February 20th, 2025. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thanks, Michael. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Berardi. Or, I'm sorry, Maria Bruni. Hi. Okay, Alex Berardi.
Wasn't present.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The meeting minutes from February are approved and adopted. Next up, we have Minoshka's reports to the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. This month, we've had a very busy month. We have several open positions for here in the agency, starting with the Chief Information Officer. As you know, Francine started the trend of retirement. And we are in the process of hiring. We have so far over 45 resumes. I understand that no ones have come in. And we are also actively recruiting for vacancies in maintenance, command center, and security, as well as administration. And we are also utilizing Governor Hochul's Your Hire campaign to promote all of our open positions and widen our candidate pool. In terms of security training, we completed all the security guard training through our proprietary school taught by Mark Horton and have renewed all their state licenses. We have instituted several wellness programs in the agency to include a pet therapy program to provide comfort to staff after experienced traumatic events. Thank you, Joan, for allowing us to come to Westchester and learn of your program. That was excellent. And thank you, Danielle, for working on all of these activities. We also have a virtual peer support network, which is the platform for employees to connect and support one another. This is the national platform, so we're very excited about it. We are also starting a chaplaincy program to offer spiritual support and guidance to employees whenever we experience any traumatic events as well. We have instituted a new program also, a Day in the Life program, that is allowing staff to shadow different departments for a day. This initiative fosters cross-departmental understanding, enhances collaboration, and provides employees with insights into different roles within the organization. Now, as we are smaller, there is a lot of cross collaboration. For instance, Jonathan Goya is one of our command center administrators, but he has a dual role. He works a lot with IT, with the cameras and doing things. So those collaborations started by themselves. So we decided, let's formalize some of them and allow other people the opportunity to look into other fields because it may bring them into new growth opportunities within the agency. Internal trainings, we provided a disability etiquette training. We want to ensure that we learn to be respectful when interacting with individuals with disabilities to ensure that they feel welcome and included in our workplace. In terms of community, as you know, we have our first Bear Mountain Bridge redecking project design. Thank you to all who came to our first meeting. Thank you, Commissioner O'Brien, for participating. We had approximately 27 individuals who came to the meeting. It was very productive. We presented the project, and we are still receiving input from the meeting, so we will collect them to bring to the board when you're ready to make a decision about the project. We also encourage all members of the public to stay engaged, participate in our social media channels, as well as our project website at www.bearmountainbridgeproject.com and our email address, bearmountainbridgeproject@gmail.com. As you know, we also have an expo coming, the Stronger Together Hudson Valley Public Safety and Wellness. Planning continues. We met yesterday with Mayor Flowers in the town of Poughkeepsie to gather her collaboration. The meeting will be held on June 11th at SUNY New Falls. We have approximately 15 partners that will be participating, and we hope the list continue to grow. Hudson Valley Job Fair on March 13th. Our Director of Human Resources and his team hosted a table. This was presented by the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce to promote employment opportunities in the Hudson Valley. And we received about 115 requests from the public. So that was a very positive interaction, particularly that we have a lot of opening coming over. To include the summer internship program, we are currently seeking to fill 28 positions in the maintenance, engineering, security, and executive management departments. We have additional returning interns in tolling and IT, and advertising is starting this week on our website, social media, job fairs, local community, local colleges, and we are asking for applications by April 4, with orientation scheduled for May 19th. We will gain, this year again, we'll do STEM workshops throughout the summer to introduce our interns to different career fields in NYSBA and within the transportation industry. So commissioners, please, if you're interested in being one of our panelists, please let us know. Youth leadership program, we have local high school students coming again or came again to participate with the agency. they were matched up with the command center at our financial department. This month, I did a couple of radio interviews to discuss NYSBA, the jobs that are coming up, as well as to amplify the new proposals from Governor Hochul that impact the transportation industry. And so I was in Marino in the morning on Q92, and then in La Voz in Radio Kingston. This was a language programming interview. Hudson Valley, we had also several activities that we participated this month to include the Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress, where Chris, Steven and I participated in attended the Q&A session with Dan Garotnik, who is the New York City Planning Director. We also attended the Orange County Chamber of Commerce breakfast to learn about Hope Night from Empire State Development. Our IT group participated in the Strengthening Hudson Valley Cybersecurity through Collaboration and Innovation Conference. This was the first regional conference focused on how to best prepare for tomorrow's threat, focusing on the cyber threat landscape, cyber crisis, and modernizing AI and cybersecurity tools. Sheena, that you saw here before, she received she's one of the honorees for our Hudson Valley Top 40 Under 40 Movers and Shaker Awards. We're going to be participating and joining her on May 1st here in Poughkeepsie. So congratulations to Sheena again. And this month, we submitted 2 small grants to the AARP, one for enhanced lighting for pedestrian safety along the pathways, as well as to educate individuals 50 and over on how to register for Easy Pass and how to pay their bills online. The Easy Pass for All campaign will be focused on using the Easy Pass website or phone application for tolling needs. In addition, as we previously protected, we were planning to submit the Protect grant, but this has been placed on hold. So we will continue to explore different grant options for this project. In terms of strategic plan initiatives, this month we're focusing on service. As you know, we have 2 objectives. One is to foster customer-centric service delivery, as well as to strengthen partnerships and community relations. For the objective 1, that is the customer-centric service delivery, we put in place 2 initiatives. One was to do a marketing campaign for Easy Pass and tolls by mail, and that is right on par with our plans. We're planning to do at least 10 social media posting per year, and we have started, and this is going super well. In addition, we wanted to expand our social media account, and we have included now Instagram and LinkedIn that were not part of the social media accounts that we had before. Similarly, for enhancing customer service skills, we develop policy and work instructions as to how we want our individuals to work, in particular to answering tolling-related customer service calls. And we are finalizing the training focus on these skills and developing the policy. In terms of strengthening partnerships with the community, we engage with the 2 local stations to let them know about the work that we do at the agency and to promote collaborations between, the communities that we serve and the agency. In terms of finance, we are going to present a new contract by IT. And then in terms of traffic and revenue, in the month of February, we had 4.3 million vehicle crossings. That is slightly below than 2024 by almost 6%. However, this still is the second highest traffic in the past 5 years behind 2024. In terms of this traffic utilization, it was 1.96 million vehicles or 90.2% Easy Pass utilization. This was composed of 91 .95 passenger vehicles, and 8.05 commercial. Commercial vehicle increased by approximately 6.5%. That is absolutely fantastic. In terms of revenue, in the month of January, we received 6.1 million. 87% of that was Easy Pass, 4% was tolls by mail, 9% fines and fees, and no overweight fees this month. In terms of activity reports, I don't have anything else to report. Thank you so much. Okay, questions?
Well, I have a comment. The percentage of Easy Pass use, it's not 95, is it? Is it because you have to separate out the, the other fees? I mean, what is the actual utilization rate of Easy Pass versus cashless?
So it's, in terms of transactions, as we report in the financial update, it's 90% for the month of February. That is the quantity of traffic or one-way traffic that actually used an Easy Pass, or excuse me, was paid by an Easy Pass account. That includes both read by the antenna, as well as those transactions that are known as iTolls, okay, that are identified through the plate.
Plate reads that resolved to someone who has an account, which I still don't like bills at the higher rate.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a higher cost,
Use their tag, that trying to disincentivize not pay.
as well as there is a higher cost associated with the plate readings.
No, I do.
Thank you. And
I
then,
put my tag, it bills me through the thing.
Is your tag mounted in the correct place?
Yes.
Your car's here, right?
no, and the other point that I wanted to make from the outreach session, I thought it was really exceptional that the state police went out of their way during the comment period to say, I want to make you guys aware, the public, what a great job your security teams do.
Great.
And their intervention rates are, off the charts compared to any of the other groups. So kudos again.
Good, thank you, Michael.
And my comment is that based upon your report, I'm satisfied that you've met all the requirements of providing the 5 things you did last week.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Minoshka. Now we go into our business items. First up, Frank, the 2024 prompt payment annual report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Pursuant to the Bridge Authority's prompt payment policy and 2880 of Public Authorities Law, the agency is required to file a report for prompt payment annually. The report is contained in your packet, which shows that last year we paid no late fees for any of the categories of contracts. Following your approval of the resolution, the report will be submitted to Paris, the Public Authorities Reporting Information System, with copies being mailed to the chair of the State Senate Finance Committee and the chair of Assembly Ways and Means Committee.
Questions, comments from the board? Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Michael. Second?
Second.
Okay, I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. Next up, the monthly activity. Oh, no, sorry, the 2024 annual procurement contracts.
Making her read that twice would not be fair.
Would not be fair. No. So go ahead, Frank.
Okay, this item has 2 resolutions attached to it. The first being for the 2024 annual procurement contracts report. Again, Public Authorities Law and the authorities guidelines for establishing standards for the use of award monitoring and reporting of procurement contracts require that an annual report detailing information on expenditures and contracts over $5,000 entered in during the year 2024 and ongoing from previous years needs to be completed and filed. That is contained in your packet. You got a prettier version than what we actually updated. Those who wanted to make it nice and colorful for you. So that's what you got in there. The second resolution is for the board to pass, basically renew and adopt the authority's guidelines for establishing standards for the use of award monitoring reporting for procurement contracts. It has not changed from last year. Following the adoption of these resolutions, again, they will be uploaded into Paris with copies being mailed to the Department of Economic Development, the Senate Finance Committee, and the Assembly Ways and Means Committee.
Kevin, do we do one vote or do I need two? Two resolutions.
One for each resolution.
Okay.
In case you decide to.
In case someone decides either if they want to vote for one and not the other. Okay, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 1, which is the 2024 annual procurement contracts report?
So moved.
Thanks, Alex. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next, we have the 2025 procurement policies. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Eric, Engineering and Maintenance, the jobs in progress monthly report.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning.
For the engineering, we do not have any procurement this month. And so I'll go straight into the jobs in progress. For the jobs in progress on the design side, we are continuing the design of the Bear Mountain Bridge deck replacement. And just recently, the consultant, Tomasetti, they were able to successfully pass a wind tunnel testing, because we do need to, when we put, increase the height of the roadway barrier to modern standards, we gotta make sure that there's no induced forces on the structure. So we did a wind tunnel testing. The structure passed, very, very good. Again, it just shows that the vision that the original designers had, that they had built it way over design. And as you heard, the consultants are the one who developed the outreach program. They did a good job with having it in place, all the notifications, and I would say we had a successful present open house. So we're gonna congratulate them on that. The next job in progress is the Mid-Hudson Bridge, the east approach deck rehab. And again, the consultant, which is GPI, they're continuing to develop the details on that repair. One of the plans for that is we're gonna infill portions of that section where it's vaulted. And when you infill those portions, you clean up at grade, you have less structure, and just long term, you have less maintenance. So that's the direction we're taking, to be able to put things in place where we reduce the maintenance and maintenance costs. So that project is also in place, and we brought that up yesterday with when we met with the Poughkeepsie mayor. Just to coordinate, we know there's gonna be some coordination that's needed over there with construction activities. So we notify them of the project, and we'll be collaborating with them going forward. The next project in design is we had a deck painting project for the Kingston Rhine Cliff, but we had deferred that to 2028 due to some funding reallocation that we had to do. So while the project is out in 2028, we are directing our designers to complete the package by the end of 2025, so that we could have some flexibility in case we need to make any adjustments, and if the opportunity comes up, we'll have the project ready to be put back in the schedule. For the construction jobs in progress, we have Hudson Valley Bridge contractors. Again, they're developing or manufacturing some steel components for the Mid-Hudson Bridge and the arch portion. There were some structural elements there that needed to be replaced. And we have the components being fabricated, and we expect that they're pretty soon, the components will be completed and be ready for installation. So early spring, we expect that, that section of our project will be completed. The next, contract in progress, is PSK Steel Construction. They've actually completed all the repairs, all the tasks that we have given them. And that included one of the items that we had discussed earlier with where we had a below 5 rating. We had assigned them some contract items, which would rectify that component back up to a general rate of 5. So they've completed those assignments and the contract's close is completed, and only the time was extended, but in terms of the funding, they've completed all the work within previously approved change orders. The fact that the construction had extended into 2025, what that meant is that the consultant who was overseeing the work, you always want to have somebody on board when those kind of activities are being taken place. So that extended the contract for the consultant who was overseeing, which is HDR. So HDR submitted to us a change order for the extra work that they've had to do. And we've reviewed the contract, we've reviewed the change order, and we've negotiated, and we find that a reasonable cost of $180,000 is reasonable for the work they've performed, and therefore we're bringing that to the board for approval.
Okay, so first we will have a vote on the jobs in progress and then on the HDR change order that Eric just explained. Yep.
Stupid question. What's the design work for painting in Kingston?
The design work, you have to inspect and tell the contractors how much quantity and which location they have to paint.
Other questions from the board?
Yeah, I'm just curious how you come up with the number of, as a reasonable number for the work that they did to be 180.
The number of hours that they're in the field times their rate times the hours and the number of people who perform the inspections.
Other questions? Okay, first we will take a vote on the jobs in progress. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next, we have the change order for HDR that Eric explained. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Brian. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so 8 investments, all of routine nature in the investment report. Those are reflected in the investment inventory. We're currently sitting at 118,700,000 available to support the capital program. As you know, fortunately, we saw investment or approximate yield increase, 0.02% for the month. We're still making $550,000 a month associated with investment income. We are seeing, as everybody else is, we're seeing lower prevailing market interest rates associated with treasuries. Last year, the yield curve was inverted at the short end of the curve, and now it's, basically about 75 basis points lower. So hopefully we'll continue to not see, we'll continue to see higher than, we'll call it historical interest rates running back the last 10 years. Nothing else really to note here.
I remember asking Brian a year ago, roughly at this meeting, what's your forecast for the next year? So one advice, and your answer was, I don't know, it could go any way. So it was a pretty good answer. Like about the same place.
Yep.
And sadly, we're still in the same place now.
Yep. Other questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Ferrari,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution to be approved and adopted. Brian?
Next up's the 2024 annual investment report. Without repeating myself, I believe it was discussed in the committee.
Yeah.
Um,
Do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. Call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Ferrari,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution's approved and adopted.
Quick question, on any of these that have draft financials in them, we're approving for you to also insert the final copy.
That is
when
correct.
it arrives.
Right,
Okay.
so that particular one, to be clear, there will be no change to it, and if we are able, if we
If you
are
get that one.
unsuccessful at getting the SOC one by the ABO due date, that one I can separate and pull it out, okay, and that will be finalized by itself.
So we've given him the authority to
Yeah.
proceed even though it's a draft. Okay.
Yep.
For the record, that draft across it is difficult to read.
Yes, but they wouldn't sign it either, and, you know, I would have liked to have gotten one without it, but, you know, they get all touchy about it.
Yes, they do. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt, the 2024 annual report
So moved.
And the investment report,
And the investment.
and the investment report?
the investment report and the 2000 report, if you want to do both at once.
So moved.
Wait, do I need 3 votes or do I need?
You wanna do two, Brian?
Did you get the
Same?
investment report?
Yes, we got the
Okay,
investment
I'm sorry.
report. We're on
Same
the
principle as the
2800.
20.
Right.
We're on the 20.
We're on the 2800. Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Ferrari,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution's approved and adopted. Next up is the 2024 annual real and personal property disposal report.
Okay, so this is a new one,
Okay.
not discussed before, so this is basically guidelines and procedures for disposal of personal property. You know, there's no change for the current year, we send everything to auction that we're not gonna go and basically throw out. For this particular year, you know, the real property report is part of this, there's also the disposal report. There were approximately half a dozen items that we threw out, you'll appreciate that in the past few years, the retail value of used vehicles has, you know, for the most part exceeded the $5,000 threshold required to trigger reporting. Those are all reported here. Again, we dispose of these through absolute auctions, so it's not like we're selling on the side. We follow this.
Question?
I was gonna say, just, can I make a request that when these rules that we look at every year, is thank you, highlight there is no change, right? Because otherwise you try to dig out last year's and.
If I didn't do it on any of them, I try to note that there are no changes.
Speaking of vehicles, has anybody seen the new electric trucks? They look great. I saw one just today for the first time. It looked fantastic.
Oh.
We're very cutting edge. Is the
Okay.
feeling I got.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Ferrari,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative.
And Joe, if you don't mind, I think page 235, we missed, it wasn't in there, the no lobbying contact letter resolution.
Well, there isn't a separate resolution for that. That's just an acknowledgement. It's all part of that 2800 report because.
Got it.
that's why-
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
Thanks.
yep, no problem.
Quarterly operation.
Quarterly operations report.
So last up is the quarterly operations report for 2024. This will be the last item I bring to the board. There's no action required by the board on this item. This is just a quick review. Traffic was up 2.68%. Revenue was up 8.32%. This was a combination of traffic increase of 2.68 plus the full year in place of the last stage of the toll schedule revision. If you remember, the last portion of the fourth part toll schedule revision was implemented on May 1st of 2023. Additionally, we did see some improvement in mix of traffic to some extent, but all of those factors drove the increase, as well as we saw some improvement in the amount of fines we received associated with collection of tolls by now. Okay, to continue, operating expenses were down $12 million. You know, obviously the biggest item or the largest item was 11.7 million associated with GASB 75 that the auditor touched on. This really relating to assumptions, because remember, these amounts are not real cash out the door. For our resolution purposes, we look at physical cash out the door and we exclude those. it would give the impression, if you were to look at it, that we went from $12-13 million down to $38,000 negative. No, we did not get a refund on benefits. No, we spent the normal amount. It's always just actuary impact that results in those large swings, which is why we exclude it from resolution expenses. Okay, other items to note, salaries increased by 196,000. That was associated with contractually obligated wage and salary increases, offset to some extent by vacant positions that we're still looking to fill, as been noted before. The electronic tolling cost decreased by $67,000, which is actually very good because despite traffic being up by 2.68%, as well as increased costs associated with the full year utilization of the collections agency, we still managed to come down lower. We attribute that to a reduction in costs associated with the new contract with the CSC. Other items to note, commercial insurance increased $542,000. The increases were noted as we renewed the policies in the prior year. The $107,000 for equipment decreased in 2023. We had some backlog from COVID in receiving some equipment. We received it in 23 and there was no equivalent in 2024. Lastly, the depreciation decreased $290,000. That had a lot to do with, if you remember, the board This report is provided solely for information purposes to the board. No actions required unless there are any questions.
Question?
Bravo. Brian,
Bravo.
Okay. We have no human resources items. Next up is IT Crancy City Log.
Yes, so the first thing that I bring to you is the city log maintenance renewal. Each year, the authority renews the maintenance support for their network equipment and software support as for cybersecurity policy requirements. The city log support enables us to take security and program updates and troubleshoot issues as they arise. The authority utilizes this software in the command center to automatically identify and alert CCAs of events on our bridges. That's one of the things that you see in Danielle's presentations. As of May 21st, CityLog was merged with Sensi, and Sensi is a sole source, and they did supply us with a quote of $17,600 for the renewal, and it is the same as it was previous year.
Okay. Questions from the board? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. Resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Francine, the IT consultant.
So for you now, we have the IT consultant contract extension. In March of 2020, the board approved a resolution for a contract with Capsh with some extension options. The contract provides intelligent transportation engineering services to the Bridge Authority for current and future programs. They provide us with preventative maintenance and system integration. Notably, the contract also includes the ability to extend the terms of the contract that we currently do have with them. Capsh is responsible for corrective maintenance of our ITS equipment, that is our EMSs, our OUSs. The software that they provide us, which is a proprietary software, the dynamic software that we utilize to control those systems. So we would like to recommend and request approval for the board for extending the original contract one additional year as initially intended to enter into a single source contract because of the proprietary software that they supply us. But we also use them as our consulting for design work and future contracts, as you will see with the contract that Danielle has been working on in the past several board meetings. So we would like to extend this for one additional year to support us in our IT initiatives.
Okay. Questions, comments? Do I have a motion? Thank you, Maria. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Danielle, the command center.
Thank you. So as you know, we contract the state police for traffic control during our phone operations Monday through Friday. And this year, there's been an increase to their hourly rates that are aligning with the increase to just state employee rates across the board. It's 2.8% up from 143.33 to 147.33, with an annual not to exceed cost of $153,223. We're just asking approval to go with those rates.
Questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, Jeff, electronic tolling and toll audit.
Thank you. Good morning. Okay, so I have the September 2024 Easy Pass and cash tolling expenses invoice from the New York State Thruway Authority in the amount of $716,435.09. This bill includes a charge for 50% of change order 416 that was previously approved by the board in the amount of $123,557 for collections. That cost was split between the legacy current system and the new system. We expect to pay the remaining 50% sometime in 2025. Additionally, this includes some credit of $85,344 from Conwin due to some errors introduced in the last toll increase related to the unlowest communities. We ask the board for approval to pay this.
I will be recusing myself because I sit on the Thruway board, but do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thanks, Lanny. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien. And as stated, I recuse. Next up, the motion is approved and adopted. Next up, Jeff.
Thank you. This is the October 2024 Easy Pass and cash tolling expenses invoice, again from the New York State Thruway Authority in the amount of $885,398.08. This invoice includes this is a higher than usual. It includes a payment of $189,902.38 for collection fees for the months of November 2023 through and including October 2020. This did increase the cost per transaction, but we don't expect that to be an occurrence. There's just that big chunk of money. If we remove that 189,000, the cost per transaction is about.
Yeah, that was a question before.
Thank you.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thanks, Michael. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I recuse myself. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next, Jeff.
Okay, this is the credit card reimbursement cost for the Thruway Authority for Q4 2024. Every quarter, we bring one of these to the board. And this is for finishing up 2024 in the amount of $294,862.88.
Questions? Comments? I have a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Second. Second. Thanks, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I recuse myself. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, MTA Bridges and Tunnels.
Okay, we are in receipt of an invoice from the MTA Bridges and Tunnels for AET overpayment reimbursement, similar to credit card reimbursement. In January 2025, there was a larger than usual number of overpayments made to the collection agency. NYSBA received these payments from the collection agency, and the excess credits were applied to customer bills. NYSBA now needs to reimburse the MTA, who distributes those funds on behalf of the New York agencies. We reviewed the invoice, found it to be accurate in the amount of $29,190.16.
Questions, comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. We have no media and public information or presentations. We do have one item that I would like to go into executive session on a legal matter. It should only take approximately 10 minutes. I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor signify by saying aye. I would like, Martha, Lauren, Kevin, and Brian to stay. Everybody else is free to go. Francine, you have to kind of tell us what we have to do here.
I can
Okay. We are out of executive session at, I can't see the time.
10:52.
10:52. Thank you. Do we have any new business from any of the board members?
No.
Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 17th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Lenny. Second. Thank you,
Second.
Michael. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Today's meeting